Welcome back to the Gridiron Expert. Utah started 1-2 in 2021, but finished 9-2, winning the Pac-12 and making the Rose Bowl both for the first time in program history. Now the million-dollar question is, can the Utes take that next step and make the college football playoff? They certainly have the talent to do it. Their star quarterback Cam Rising returns after throwing for 20 touchdowns and just 5 interceptions. Their star running back returns in Tavion after rushing for over 1,100 yards. And their tight end Brant Keithy was the top receiver last year with 611 reception yards. The defense, per usual, looks to be solid. Very strong secondary, and they replaced their star linebacker in Devin Lloyd with Mamad Diabate from Florida. This team, once again, guys, is loaded, and you take a look at the numbers provided to us again by our good friend College Football Encyclopedia. Make sure to take a look at his page, the link down in the description below. The Utes, guys, are 49th in the country when it comes to returning production. 49th in returning production, which is not too bad. They averaged over 36 points per game last year, which was 14th in the country, and their defense was 27th in the entire country, guys. So this team, again, has all the pieces necessary to repeat as Pac-12 champions, to make the college football playoff, and I think that is kind of the end goal here in Salt Lake City. Anything less than a Pac-12 title, maybe anything less than a playoff berth, would be viewed as a disappointment. So we take a look at their schedule, guys. Can the Utes get there? Can Kyle Whittingham finally get over the hump and get to that Final Four? They face a very tough test in Week 1 in the Swamp at Florida. So Mamad Diabate making his return to the Gators, guys. Again, transferring from Florida to Utah. His first game will be back in Gainesville. This is a game that's bigger for Utah than it is for Florida. Florida is dealing with a brand new head coach in Billy Napier. He's making his debut with the team in the Swamp against a probably top 10 team. Should be a top 5 team in my opinion. The question is, can Utah's defense handle AR-15? Can they handle Anthony Richardson? Florida, guys, has a pretty strong secondary. They might be able to limit Cam Rising in this passing attack, but Utah, guys, owns the edge in the trenches. They own the edges on the offensive line and, I believe, on the defensive line. And ultimately, guys, from a coaching standpoint, from a player standpoint, the Utes are more experienced. The Utes are more experienced. And this is a must-win game for them, because if they fall to Florida, I can promise you guys that Utah is going to slip up somewhere on their Pac-12 slate. And so 2 losses in the Pac-12, your playoff hopes are done. So if they lose to Florida, they're out of the question, because I think they're going to lose somewhere else. If they can beat Florida, they do have room for error if they were to fall in Pac-12 play. So that's just why this game is so huge, not just for Utah, but maybe for the entire Pac-12, as the Utes could be the conference's only hope to get into the playoff. But we do believe the Utes go on the road and take on Florida. It will be messy, it will be physical, it will be tough, but Utah across the board, guys, is the better team, and they have what it takes to withstand the Swamp, one of the most difficult places to play in the country. We believe they take down Southern Utah. We believe they take down San Diego State. They fell to the Aztecs 33-31 in triple overtime last year. The Aztecs, once again, will have a very strong defense, but Utah simply is better on offense than the Aztecs, no doubt about it. They're back at home, and they want revenge from that loss they suffered just last year. So I believe Utah wins this game, and they win it relatively comfortably. They then get into the bulk of their conference play. They start with a road game at Arizona State. The Utes beat Arizona State 35-21 in 2021. And while going on the road is not easy, especially out to the desert, playing the Wildcats or the Sun Devils is always a difficult place when you go on the road there. Arizona State is in a bit of a disarray. They're in a bad spot. All those NCAA allegations going up against them from the recruiting violations that Herm Edwards committed. Their star quarterback, Jaden Daniels, is gone. They're having to replace their entire secondary. They are a bit of a dumpster fire right now, and Arizona State's not going to be much of anything in 2022. So I truly believe that Utah goes on the road and takes relatively easy care of an Arizona State team who I believe struggles defensively, which will not bode well for the Sun Devils. It's just not going to go well for them with Tavion Thomas and Cam Rising really just going all over them. Oregon State kicks off the month of October. That was Utah's lone conference loss, if you want to believe that. 42-34, Utah's lone conference loss in 2021. It came to Oregon State, but now the Utes get the Beavers at home. So if you thought they were going to be mad about the San Diego State game, they're certainly going to be mad about the Oregon State game. They're going to be more angry towards the Beavers, trying to avenge that lone conference loss, their unblemished record in conference play. Oregon State, guys, is going to have a pretty solid defensive line. Their front seven on defense is going to be very, very good. But Utah has the offensive line to withstand that. They have the offensive line to give Cam Rising the protection, to open up holes for Tavion Thomas. And right now, especially on offense, I don't see Oregon State having the consistency, and that's going to be the key theme for Oregon State this year is consistency. I don't see them having that to come on the road to Salt Lake City and to take down the Utes. I just don't see the Beavers having it. This is a team that should get back to a bowl game, but not enough to beat Utah for the second year in a row. Utah gets maybe their second biggest test. I would say Florida's the first big one. UCLA would be the second big one. USC right after that. But the UCLA game is going to be tough, especially on the road. Utah did win that game 44-24 last year, and I believe they can absolutely do it again. That's the thing. I think it's going to be closer, but they can win even though it is on the road. Yes, UCLA returns Dorian Thompson-Robinson. They return Zach Charbonnet, but UCLA had the worst passing defense in the Pac-12, and they gave up the third most rushing touchdowns in the Pac-12 last year. So while the offense should be great for UCLA, the defense still has a few questions, enough questions I believe Utah will exploit those and win this game on the road by at least 10 points. It'll be a tough test, but Utah has what it takes to win. They just can't afford to overlook that game, guys, in preparation for USC, because that's the game we all have circled on our calendar, right? Utah, USC, a game that has major Pac-12 title implications, a game that has major potential playoff implications, as USC and Utah are both legitimate contenders for that Final Four this year. So again, Utah cannot afford to overlook that UCLA game in preparation for USC. So it's a bit of a trap game for them. This USC game, guys, is huge, 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 huge. And it's huge that Utah gets this game in Salt Lake City, where they have won 3 of the last 4 over the Trojans. Home field advantage is going to be so key in this game against USC. Yes, they've added Caleb Williams and Jordan Addison and Travis Dye and Lincoln Riley. And yes, the Trojans are going to be much better than we have seen over the last 4 years. No doubt about it. But Utah has everything they need to hang with USC. They can match that offense step for step, and they absolutely have the defense to stop this electric USC offense. And I believe they're going to stop that USC offense right in their tracks in Salt Lake City. The implications could not be bigger. And with Utah having this game at home, Kyle Whittingham's not going to let this game slip away. Utah will beat USC on October 15th, and they will remain undefeated, 7-0, heading in to their bye week. They go on the road to Washington State right after the bye, and to me, this is a trap game, guys. You're high off the USC win. You've let your guard down a little bit because you've had a bye week. Now you're going into Pullman, midweek game here against Washington State, a team that should be another bowl team and a team that's going to have another electric offense led by Cameron Ward, the transfer quarterback from Incarnate Word. So Utah only beat the Cougars 24-13 last year. If the defense takes their guard down just a little bit, you know Pullman's going to be rocking on a Thursday night looking to knock down what could be a top 2 or 3 team in the country in the Utes. I'm going to give Utah the win here. But would not be surprised in the slightest if Washington State pulled off this upset. And I will tell you this, Washington State will pull off a massive upset in 2022. Who will it be against? Gotta watch that video to find out. The rest of the schedule, guys, with the exception of Oregon, is pretty easy. They should take care of Arizona. They beat them by 9 last year. Yes, Arizona's improving, added a lot of key pieces, but still a ways away under Jed Fish to really competing. They take on Stanford. They dominated Stanford last year, 52-7. Huge rushing day for the Utes. Stanford had no answer for Utah's offense, especially on the ground. Beat them 52-7 last year. Stanford, the worst defense in the Pac-12 last year. Utah at home should take easy care of the Cardinal, who might be parting ways with David Shaw by the end of the year. They then go to Oregon. That's the other big one, guys. So if you're looking at the probably 3 biggest games on Utah's schedule, it's at Florida, USC, and at Oregon. Remember, Utah owned Oregon last year. They beat Oregon 38-7 in the regular season, which ultimately ended Oregon's Pac-12 title hopes. Then they beat Oregon again in the Pac-12 championship, 38-10. Oregon's playoff hopes, I should say, into their playoff hopes. Then beat Oregon 38-10 in the Pac-12 championship. Oregon wants revenge. If there's one game circled on Oregon's calendar, it's this game against Utah. Because Utah, both times they annihilated Oregon, they weren't in Eugene. First one was in Salt Lake City. The other one, again, not in Eugene. So again, Oregon's a team, guys, that should have better quarterback play with Bo Nix. Has a fantastic front 7. Dan Lanning, a brilliant defensive mind, is now their brand new head coach. And this team that really could not really get any consistency or anything going on offense last year should be drastically better in 2022. The game is at Autzen Stadium. The game will be Utah's first loss. Oregon will get revenge over the Utes. Now, it might not end Utah's playoff hopes because it'll only be their first loss, but it's definitely going to give them less room for error going forward to their season finale in the Pac-12 championship game. Oregon's going to get revenge, guys. I have no doubt in my mind. This will be a barn burner in Eugene, late November, but Oregon will get their revenge over the Utes. Not maybe in dominating fashion, but with a revamped defense and better quarterback play, I'm going with the Ducks. So Utah gets their first loss of the year. They travel on the road to Colorado. They annihilate the Buffaloes because Colorado, obviously, we believe will be the worst team in the Pac-12 in 2022. They only lost to the Utes 28-13 last year, but it will be much worse in 2022. And that's going to give Utah an 11-1 record in this upcoming season, guys. 11-1, they'll be in the Pac-12 championship game, and if they win that against maybe Oregon, maybe USC, whoever it is, if they can win that championship game, the Utes will be in the college football playoff. Utah will be in the college football playoff if they go 11-1 like we predict and they win the Pac-12 championship. And just like a few years ago, they were one win away in that Pac-12 title against Oregon from getting into that college football playoff. Can they get over the hump this year? Can they finally get rid of all the bad mojo? Can they start strong? Can they win the big games? Can they win their second straight Pac-12 title? And I'm telling you guys, if Utah does win their second straight Pac-12 title, they will be a top 4 team in December. So guys, as always, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos. Check out everything down in the description below, including, again, our expert picks over on our website, thegridironexpert.com. Make sure to sign up for that, guys. Some of the best college football and NFL spread picks in the entire country that you do not want to miss out on. Make sure to go take a look at those and sign up for those today. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.